Alright, welcome to the vlog. This is a quick tutorial on how to sew or hem your jeans, denim, pants. So this is my denim pants and it's a little bit longer than I would like. So I'm gonna take off some of the length and I will show you how to do that in this tutorial. These are similar pants right here that I already finished, and they are Levi's 505, the regular cut jeans, and the ones I am wearing are Lee, L-E-E, also in the regular cut, and this is the finished hemline of the jeans I finished yesterday. When I'm not cycling, I enjoy sewing. So yeah, that's the finished product. And I'm gonna do this one and show you how to do it in this vlog tutorial. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is actually put your pants on with a belt to have it sit where you actually typically would wear the pants, because if you don't use a belt, depending on the rise of the pants, it might fall down a little lower than you normally would wear it, but you can kind of tell where your belt sits when you cinch up the belt, that's exactly where you want your pants to stay. And then I get my tailor's chalk, and basically I'm gonna look for my ankle bone, straighten out my pants, look for my ankle bone, and I'm gonna go about 2 fingers underneath my ankle bone, which is right here. That's where I want my pants to end, and that's how much. Yeah, so moving on to the next step. Alright, so the next step I usually do is I clip the pants up at the top so that it's perfectly aligned all the way down to the pant leg right there. And then because this hemline is about a 1 finger breadth, what I do is I mark 2 finger breadths underneath, so that would be right about there. Okay, and then I do that with both sides. Yeah, so it would look just like this. That would be where you're gonna finish, and this would be where you're actually gonna cut, because you're going to roll. You're gonna go roll in once, then twice, so there will be absolutely no frayed part showing. Okay, so there you have it. Took off basically about 1 inch of length from the overall pants, and now to fold over the first fold. I don't know why my camera is not focusing, but fold over the first fold, grab your hot iron and make sure it's nice and flat, and then fold over the second fold and iron it over. And what I usually do is, since I don't have a spray bottle right now, I get a sponge and then I wet the ends so that they fold over nice and flat, and it's much easier to fold the pants that way. and iron the pants that way when the ends are wet. Okay, just like that, very easy with a sponge. Okay, once the ends are nice and wet, you're ready to iron it flat. Okay, so on the very hot high setting, I am just pressing the end of the denim, the cut denim, to make as strong of a crease as possible. It'll probably work even better if you use starch, ironing starch. So once you do that, you can move on to the next step. One more fold over and pin it. One more step that I usually do is I cut off this bit right here, just about 1 finger breadth, so that it's easier to sew over it unless you have a commercial sewing machine. But if you have a regular conventional sewing machine, it typically can't fold, the needle can't go through this, so you just cut off this 1 finger breadth of really thick material and it's easier to fold over. So once you've pinned everything up and double folded it, the inside should look something like this with the pins right there. I'm just using 2 pins, and I cut off that that 1/2 inch of the super thick material for the seam, so that way it was able to fold over a lot easier. And then you do that with the other pant leg, and you're off to the sewing part. One thing I forgot to mention is iron over this with a really hot iron multiple times, so it's as flat as you can get it. The flatter the better, because then the needle can go through it easier, and it'll just make your whole procedure much easier and quicker. A tip for getting the after you pin the top and bottom portion, a tip for getting the corners folded in is to pin the top and bottom first, and then it's much easier to fold over the double fold for the corners. Okay, so setting up your machine for this method, I'm using a red stitch for the inside of the pants that you're not going to see. And since I'm going to be sewing on the inside, that's where I'm going to have my straight stitch. I use the jean colored thread, the golden brown thread, on the spool on the inside. So the thread I use on the inside for the stitch is the Dual Duty Plus Extra Strong for jeans. Yep, and this is the jean colored thread right over there for the jeans onto the straight stitching. The machine I'm using is the Kenmore. Yeah, and it's the Kenmore mini machine. This is one of the smaller machines that Kenmore makes, but definitely strong enough to do the job. It's really hard to hold the camera and sew at the same time, but that's pretty much how you do it, and go all the way around. Once you get to the super thick portion of one of the seams, you're going to want to just by hand roll the roller so that the needle doesn't break as you're going over the material. Just like that. And all you have to do is guide the material forward by hand. And the teeth on the sewing machine actually will push the fabric forward. Once you get over that thick portion, you can use the foot pedal again. So also I have the tension set to 3 on the tensioner, and once it's done, basically it's gonna look like this. The only part that will have slight freeze will be the very thick part where you only fold that over once, and then the rest of the stitch, as you can see, is all hidden. That's what the outside looks like, and that is what the inside looks like. That's pretty much it. That is a done deal. That is it with. And also what you want to do is set your thread line. Please focus. Set your thread line to the wide straight stitch, not the medium and not the close, the wide, and you'll be good to go. Once you get really close to your needle guide, just remove the needle and continue. Wow, that's really out of focus. There. Once the threads meet and you've gone full circle, hold your backstitch button and backstitch. I usually backstitch about 2 to 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. And then pretty much you're all done. That's what it looks like on the outside. And then just go over it a few times with the iron and some starch to get the white lines back on the ends, and it'll look just like original. That's pretty much it. Thank you for watching my tutorial on shortening your jeans and hemming them. That's it. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, and subscribe down below. And if you enjoy sewing or cycling, happy sewing. Bye bye.